just like that. It's another season of all things Gators. It's about time. Frank Frangie and Dan Hicken. Hick, what's up, buddy?
I'm doing great, Frank. Shout out. We're going to talk a lot of football, but let's shout out to the volleyball team with a big win over number 3 Pitt yesterday to even the season at 1-1. You know, we're the everything school now, Frank. I don't know if you know that or not.
Did you see the video that Thomas Houck narrated?
I heard it was great. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, my God, it was fantastic. Yeah. I was ready to go play, Dan. I got eligibility left. I was ready.
Goosebumps, baby. Let's go Gators. But everything revolves around football, man, and I'm excited. And, you know, listen, Frank, one thing we got this year, we got legitimate hope.
Yeah.
Legitimate hope. We're not just manufacturing it now, right? This is real stuff.
I totally agree with you. And I think I was with Billy Napier at SEC Media Days a month or so ago, and he had just sent out the spot the ball tweet. Remember that? Mm-hmm. First time he sent it out. And he was on with Matt Hayes and me, and he said, you know, guys, yesterday, so Matt Hayes said, are you tired of hearing about how hard the schedule is? He says, I'm so over it. He said, hey, guys, did you see my spot the ball tweet yesterday? I said, yeah, we did see it. And so I think, but I'll say this, Dan, when Billy Napier said spot the ball, I think that's his way of saying, whether he wanted to or not, no more excuses. There's no more excuses about schedule. There's no more excuses about injury. There's no more excuses about this or that. Florida expects to have a good football team this year. Now, does that mean make the playoff? Does that mean narrowly miss the playoff? Does that mean make the Final Four? We'll get through all that. But they expect to have a good football team this year, and I think spot the ball is his way of confirming that he believes that too. You agree with that?
I do. And listen, we all know it's his most talented roster. That's a given. There's depth there in some spots, not everywhere. They could always use more, but every team could. I like this team, man. I like this team. To me, it all hinges on Lagway's health. I believe if DJ, and listen, very biased, whatever, but I believe if Lagway's healthy, I think this football team is going to be better than the people who are picking these 7 and 5s and 8 and 4s, man. I do. I think now the schedule is brutal, but I think if DJ Lagway plays every game for the Florida Gators, I think Florida Gator football fans are going to be very happy by season's end.
I do too. And when you say play every game, you mean start and finish every game and play those games healthy.
Yes.
He played half the season on one leg last year.
Yes.
And for him, for a drop back quarterback, that doesn't matter. For him, it eliminated half of what he does.
Right.
And we have never seen DJ Lagway, the running quarterback. He can really go. I mean, he's a skilled runner. We remember all those highlights from high school. So if he can be the multifaceted quarterback that he was brought there to be, I agree with you. I think he's going to be good. Listen, he's got to show some growth. I mean, it was 12 touchdowns, 9 picks a year ago. It's 50-some% as a passer. So that's got to be better. But I agree with you. I think it will be. Dan, I think it's in my opinion, it's the best roster, top to bottom, they've had since the Urban years. Now, I know they were good in 20, but I thought that was Dan Mullen's play calling and Trask and Pitts and Kadarius Toney, and they created some magic there. They had a good team in 12 because they were very good defensively. But I think top to bottom, it's the best Florida roster since the Urban Meyer years. That's how good I think the roster is.
Now, with that said, I'll ask you right off the rip, would you, Frank Frangie, take a split at LSU and Miami?
No, I've been asked that a bunch. No, that's not right. I'll be okay if it lands there, and I'll be devastated if they lost both. But I think they're a good enough football team that they could win those 2 games. They beat LSU last year. They beat them last year with the quarterback playing on one leg. And we'll see if Miami's as good as people think. Carson Beck went there. The last time Carson Beck played against the Gators, I like Carson. He's a good local kid. But he struggled. The Gators picked him off a bunch, all right? So I mean, I think they've got a team. I think 8 and 4 is the floor, Dan. I think with a healthy Lagway, I think 8 and 4 is the floor, and I think they can get to 9 or 10 wins. Now I'm always that guy, but I really believe that. You know what I think this team's like? I said this. You're old enough to appreciate this because I like the more I like about you is you're an old guy. I like old people. This team reminds me more of the '84 team than some of the other teams. It's like the '84 team. 3 big physical NFL running backs, a big physical offensive line. They're going to run it as well as they throw it. They've got dudes all over on defense. Don't you? Isn't that they're more like the '80? Young people don't know that team. But older people know that this is more like the 84 team than a Spurrier or an Urban team. Does that make sense to you at
It
all?
does. I like that comparison. Listen, again, they have a veteran offensive line as well to mix in with those running backs, and I think we're all excited to see Jaden Baugh. But I mean, they can trot guys out there. That it's exciting, man. I mean, if Napier can get it together and get it going, man, it's really. Frank, if we go back to last year, this is one of the great Houdini acts in the history of college football. He was dead man walking. We were here week 4, week 5, naming names, Lane Kiffin. I mean, it's really a tremendous tip of the cap. And watching that Netflix series, I love how much these players love that coach.
Yeah.
They do. And that doesn't necessarily mean winning or losing, but he kept them together last year and deserves a lot of credit for what he did.
No, quite. Everything you said is exactly right. We were naming names. I'm glad you said that because I was laughing when you said it because we sure were. We had a list, didn't we? We went down the dang list. Not just us, everybody in Gator Nation went down the list of the potential next coaches. We said Lane Kiffin's name more than we said any Gator person's name last year. But I will tell you this: I had this conversation with Greg McElroy, a terrific broadcaster, former Alabama quarterback. He agreed with this. In college football, sometimes games are won before they're ever played because one team has the logo and the confidence. And Greg said, Frankie said, when I was at Alabama, we'd show up against Mississippi State or Missouri or Vandy, and the game was won before we ever went on the field because they were afraid they weren't good enough to play with us. We had that swagger. They played tight and nervous. We played loose and carefree because we had the logo. And we had the belief in that. And we saw it with the Spurrier years. We saw it in the Urban years. I've watched it with FSU in those ACC games. We watched it with Alabama. When one team is convinced they're better and everybody, the broadcasters, the fans, both teams know they're better, that really helps them. Well, Florida doesn't have that yet. They're still the underdog. They're still picked 7th or 8th in the league or whatever it is. But, Dan, if they go and win at LSU, which is a gigantic game, and come back and win again against Miami, all of a sudden they start thinking they're good. And all of a sudden the opponents start thinking, oh, my gosh, Florida's pretty good. If they can turn that corner, that emotional, that mental corner, then look out. Because you take that team and all of a sudden they show up with a swagger and the other team's a little tight. When's the last time Florida's had that? You know?
Yeah.
So if they show up with that, the way we've watched Alabama, we've watched Georgia do it the last 10 years. We watched Alabama do it before that. We watched Florida under Urban and Spurrier do it. If Florida can win enough early to become that team that everybody goes, oh, boy, you got to play the Gators, then look out. The roster would fit that. If Lagway's healthy and develops, they could have a great team. They really could.
Billy has not done great on the road against ranked opponents. That's why I was thinking, you had 2 tough ones, man. And, of course, you knew LSU was going to be at night, right? And so, you're staring at that one off the rip. It's awful tough, but as expected, listen, I like your thought process and they have to take the steps. See, I'm big on it. And, you start looking at this schedule and, this Texas game at home, if Texas beats Ohio State to start the year, you could have the number 1 team in the country at the Swamp would be an awesome, awesome event. So a lot to look forward to in the football season for Gator Nation this year. And obviously they've responded. They sold out Long Island University to start the year, which I won't apologize for. I don't care. Right. I don't care. I'm glad they're opening with LIU. Good.
Yeah, I agree. There's many good, hard teams they play. They deserve one of those. I'm going to go back 2 things. I want to go back to that LSU-Miami swing you talked about. I think split. Think about this. Here's how important those 2 games, that's the most important 8 days of their season. All right, it's the most important stretch. Because think about this. If they win both of those games, the level of confidence they're going to have, look out. Good luck, Tech. Then they get an off date before Texas comes in. Hey, good luck, Texas. If you're coming to the Swamp and you're playing an undefeated Florida, who by then would be ranked 5th or 6th, good luck, okay, in the Swamp. So if they win both those games, look out. If they lose both those games, Dan, I'm not sure he makes it to Halloween. I mean, I hate to say that, but if you lose twice and then here comes Texas, and Texas comes in playing a team that's lost twice already, and then you go to Texas A&M,
Yeah.
2 and 4, he doesn't make it to Halloween, Dan. So that's how you agree with that? That's how critical. And then if you split those games, to your point,
Uh-huh.
then anything can happen. But you win both those games, you're a playoff team.
Well, if you're saying that, it's interesting because you're saying that then in essence he's still on the hot seat. I don't think, just judging by,
Yeah,
and you know Scott Strickland better than I do, I don't think he would make a change.
I don't
Even
either.
if
But
yeah,
I hear you, and I don't want that to be the case. I'm rooting
right.
for Philly, and I do know
No, I
Scott.
hear you.
But if you're 2 and 3,
Yeah.
because if you lose both those games, you're probably losing to Texas. Now
Yeah.
you're 2 and 3. You know Gator Nation. You
Oh,
know
I do. Listen, I understand that part of it for sure. I mean, we'll have him out the
that,
door.
that's why those 2 games are so important.
Yeah.
To the first thing you said of this, at least split those games. Okay.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
least split those games. All right. Let me other thing. What worries you the most about the team? What position or aspect of Florida football concerns you the most going into the 25 season?
It's a great question. I actually, you know what? This is going to seem like an odd answer, but I'm going to say the quarterback
Mhm.
because I'm not 100% confident at all that we can make it through a season. He's been injury prone in the early part of his career. I need him to prove to me that he can stay on the field and take every snap. And I think the kid has. We've said this. I said this last year. He's a first-round draft pick in the NFL. I mean, I think this kid has a potential to have a statue next to Danny and Steve and Tim down there. I think that's how much potential I see in this young man. I mean, let's not forget he won every game that he finished last year. And there were some big wins in there. So honestly, when you say what you say, now look, D line's a little shaky in interior in terms of backups and things like that. But honestly, if I believe if DJ Lagway starts and finishes every game, Florida's going to have a very great year.
I do too.
Mhm.
2 or 3.
I guess that's what worries me the most.
Yeah, me too. I agree with you. And so a few things about Lagway. Number one, I do worry about the injuries. He's yet to play game 1 of his sophomore season, and already he's had a little bout with. He had a concussion in one game.
Yep.
He's had a shoulder issue we all know about.
Yep.
He had sports hernia surgery on the offseason. He hurt the hamstring last year and recently a calf. Dan, that's the whole body.
Yeah.
That's head to toe. And he hasn't played a year in a game in his sophomore year yet. So I want him to know that, and injuries aren't your fault, by the way. It's not like he's not well conditioned. It's not like he's not.
Although, Frank, let me jump in because we were talking with Shane about this, and the word is on DJ is he's in a tremendous. You know, the guy is so committed to being the best he can.
Sure.
Well, he works out a ton,
Right?
And maybe it's too much. Maybe it's too much. I mean, he's 248, 250 pounds. Maybe there's too much there. I don't know. He's awful thick, and it keeps me concerned. But go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
No. I hear you. And he's got to figure that part out.
Yeah.
Work out more, work out less, lift more, lift less. He and the strength staff and the nutrition staff, they have to figure that out together.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this. I finally, in the SEC Media Days, I finally got to see him up close. He's big and physical, but he's lean too now. He's not bulky looking. He's muscular and lean. But the other question I've got about DJ, and if you talk to Shane and I've had this talk a bunch, and DJ said this to his credit. He said this to me. He's got to show he can complete the intermediate pass over and over and over and over. Mm-hmm. I know he can throw defenders off like Superman and complete an 80-yard pass down the field. We've seen that enough. We know he's tough and physical. My question is, he threw 9 interceptions. Okay, I mean, in 12 touchdowns and 9 picks. Graham Mertz threw 26 touchdowns and 5 picks in his career there. Now, in fairness, Mertz wasn't pushing the ball down the field, and DJ is, and DJ was a freshman. But can DJ complete 11 passes in a row? Can we look up one day and he's 13 for 15 against Mississippi State, and they're up 21-0? And so I think he can, but we haven't seen that yet. We've seen the explosive plays, and I believe he can get there, but I want to see that. The other thing that concerns me, you'll laugh about this, I think the offensive line will be as good as it is in the country. I think the running back room is good. I think Miles Graham might be the best linebacker they've had since Wilbur. I mean, I think they are loaded a lot of spots. Yes, I'd like a few more defensive tackles. But the position that concerns me the most, and you're going to laugh when I tell you this, is wide receiver. I know they've got all kind of players there.
Yeah.
So young speed, Vernell Brown and Dallas Wilson joining Trey Wilson and Aiden Mizell. Gosh, that's a track team, man. And J. Mike Sturdivant comes in from UCLA as a physical guy, but it's a bunch of guys that haven't caught a lot of passes for Florida.
Right.
You got a quarterback who hasn't completed a lot of passes at Florida, and a bunch of receivers who haven't caught a lot of passes for Florida. I think they've got all the traits and effort, and but I'll feel better. I don't worry about when you hand the ball to Jaden Ball. I know what's coming, right? When Miles Graham or Aaron Childs or Tyreek Sapp has a look at you, I know what's coming. I'm not sure I know what's coming yet when DJ Lagway's throwing to Vernell Brown and Dallas Wilson, because I haven't seen a lot of it. Does that make sense? That's the 1%.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And this is a byproduct of, I think, a lot of us being, feeling like this is a very talented roster. So you're searching for, well, what concerns you the most? Well, yeah, the offensive line, the trenches are so important, right? And we feel really good about Florida's trenches for the first time in a while. So that's a huge positive, man. I mean, I'll tell you what else I love about this team. And, from an NFL perspective, I keep seeing mock drafts. I've seen 4 to 5 different Gators get picked in mock drafts. Right. So it's not just this. It's not just that. I've seen Barber. I've seen Slaughter. And I don't know that they will, but they're already being mentioned, which is a great thing. I see Sapp. And like you said, you rave about Miles Graham, who I think is going to be terrific. That linebacker position is, think about the competition to get on the field there. It's terrific.
Yeah, they one thing, and again, I'll go back to the old days. Mm-hmm. One thing Charlie Pell did, God rest his soul, of all the things that weren't great in the probation, and the one thing Charlie Pell built their roster with future NFL players. They had not. He went in, and Steve Spurrier continued that, by the way. In addition to being a fantastic coach, he continued to build the roster. And then Ron Zook did it, even though he didn't last long as a coach. He built the roster. And then Urban was great at adding to that roster. So for that stretch there of the end of the Charlie Galen era, all through the Steve era, the Zook Urban era, they were bringing in NFL players, man. That they were bringing in future. You can win a lot of games with NFL defensive linemen and linebackers. You know that? And then they got it for the longest time. They didn't have that. To your point, Dan, they're back to that. They're back to bringing in guys who are going to play on Sunday. And it's been a long time since, and that's what we're all excited about, is that roster now. For the longest time in college football, the Georgia and Alabama and Clemson, Ohio State had the rosters, and nobody else had the same roster that Oregon that those guys had. Well, now Florida's roster is closer to being like that. I don't know if it's exactly there yet, but for the first time in a long time, Florida has a roster that looks like those teams' rosters. Florida will be active on draft day like those teams are, and that's what you and I are both really excited about.
Definitely. So, listen, they can probably run the Long Island. I did some research, Frank. They have a 6,000 seat venue.
Okay.
There in Long Island. It's in Brooklyn, which is part of Long Island. Also wasn't positive about that.
Okay, good.
They were 4-8 a year ago, Frank. Finished 4th in the NEC. Okay. The Sharks are going to make 525. And tough break for the Sharks. They open at Florida, at Michigan State. Ooh. So I don't know who they're going to have left going into week 3. But obviously it's a game. Now, listen, I don't know. I'm assuming Lagway's going to play.
Yeah.
Anything you've heard, any whisper? I mean, there were rumors all summer long. I know he's gotten into full. I guess we'll find out more from Billy Napier. We're doing this on Monday morning. So I'm assuming he's going to play. It would be not good if he's not playing in the opener.
My guess is he will start the game and play in the opener. Mm-hmm. My guess is also you're going to see a lot of what you saw in the spring game and before. I think you're going to see handoffs. I think you're going to see safe passes.
Yeah,
I think he's going to. I hope it's 28-7 early second quarter, and he's out of the game. And then Harrison, Bailey, Aiden Warner, Tramel Jones, Dan Hickens, somebody goes in there.
Excited.
By the second quarter. So wouldn't you think that? I think he starts the game. I don't think he's going to take off on an RPO and run 50 yards. All right. I think he starts the game, hands off, throws a few passes. Hopefully they build a big lead. Because I'll say this is the only gimme. USF's no gimme. USF is not gimme. Okay, USF's a pretty good football team with a pretty good coach. And they're going to come in there thinking they're going to upset the Gators in the swamp. So you have you have one practice game. Yeah, that's it. And
That's right.
so you keep everybody healthy, everybody plays. But who's the backup? Is it Harrison Bailey? Is it Aiden Warner? Who's the backup? Do you know?
Well, all I've heard, and I don't know this, and I don't think he's named it, but
Oh.
and this isn't great, but they say the Warner kid throws it around in practice better than anybody, and
Loves Aiden Warner.
they were amazed at how well Bailey did in the spring game, and because he hasn't had great practices, and then Tramel's certainly moving up the charts, but a true, I don't know if he's going to be quite ready to go.
Yeah,
here, week
it
1 or
like
2.
Warner. It feels like it's Warner. He in the one Billy in one of his press conferences said both have made strides, and he goes particularly Aiden.
Yeah.
So I would think, my first thought was I wanted Bailey to be the backup because he's been all over. He's played a lot. He's if you had to run out there, God bless Aiden Warner. It wasn't his fault, but him having to run out there in Austin, Texas, he had a chance.
No chance.
At least Harrison Bailey goes, he's played. But anyway, let's hope it doesn't come to that.
Right.
Back to the question. I think DJ Lagway plays a quarter and a half, hands off a bunch, throws a couple deep balls, a few intermediate balls. My guess is he's 9 of 12 for 140 yards and 2 or 3 touchdowns, and is out of the game before halftime. That's my guess.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think Florida can, if they wanted to, could challenge some swamp records, quite frankly. I mean, this is a mismatch, man. This is putting the sheep in with the wolves type stuff. So anyway, but take care of business. Like you said, play everybody, get everybody in as best you can. Clean game, work on being clean. Let's not have stupid mistakes and things of that nature. And let's let it kick off, man. Let's get it going. It should be a lot of fun. I'm super excited about the season for the first time in a long time, Frank. Like I said, I started this with, and I'll end it with this. It's legitimate, hope. It's legitimate hope for the Gators this year. And by the way, like they say at Duke and Kansas and Kentucky and Indiana, hey, just give me the basketball season, Dan. That's all I'm asking. I got another natty to win, bro. Okay. Just give me the hoop season. So I like that. Well, we'll be expecting a lot from you this year with the basketball. It's been a fun off season. I'm with you. I think the Gators have a good roster. We'll be doing this now every Monday. We're back, all things Gators. Every Monday, folks, be looking for us, and hopefully we'll be talking about an easy, everybody stays healthy, 1-0 start next week. This is All Things Gators. I'm Frank Frangie. That's Dan Hicken. Yeah, Southeast Orthopedic Specialist brings you this se-ortho.com. Frank, have a great week. You too, Hick. All right, bud.